Mr. Borman, welcome to the African Sports Network.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, it's quite a pleasure, having you out here. I know that back home, people are probably wondering, they're probably trying to catch a glimpse of you on MLS soccer. Try to refresh them a little bit about what's been going on with you.
I just got drafted this year by the New York Redbulls. I've played, I think, about 15 games, scored two couple of goals, So things have been going good for me in the MLS so far.
Well, it's quite a pleasure. I'm definitely very proud of your accomplishment and achievement. I know that Rhode Island University, where you came from before coming to the Red Bulls, it's quite a tough competition out there, to get selected. How was that experience for you? How did you make it out here to the New York Red Bulls?
I studied, received a athletic scholarship from the University of Rhode Island. So I played there for 4 years, graduated, got my education first, and then I got drafted, obviously, by the Red Bulls after that.
Africa, I hope you're listening. The brother completely stressed that first he got on his education, he got scholarship. So if you're watching back home and you playing soccer all the time, remember that you got to study first. You got to study so that you could get the scholarships, and then you can make it, your tuition. The school can pay for you to learn how to play soccer and eventually end up professional like Mr. Borman here. So Borman, so far, what are your aspirations? Have you been going back home are you involved in any initiative back home? I know that you made the under-19 of South African soccer team, and I know that the South African soccer team is not an easy team to make. I mean, it's one of the top soccer teams in Africa. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was in high school when I made the U19 team and the 19 team. That was a good experience. It's always nice to represent your country. But like for me, I'm not a part of anything right now. I haven't been home yet since I've played professional soccer. So, but when I go home, I would like to reach out to the community, to the youngsters, and tell them there is a future in sports, but also get your education first, and the professional sports can come afterwards.
Well, right here, I'm very pleased, with your accomplishment. I'm very pleased with your efforts. And it's quite an example to young Africans, to tell them that even though we're young, with aspiring, even with the vision that people have about Africa, because most of the time when you hear about Africa, it's mostly about philanthropy, trying to help somebody. Nothing positive really comes out of it. But I think that what you guys symbolize here is positive. I mean, you're an example of an African man that has really achieved something. And we have quite a good movement going out here. So have you been hearing rumors of anybody coming from South Africa again to join MLS? Are there other brothers from South Africa that are actually playing here in the MLS?
No, not that I know of. I think I'm the only one that's from. They have been in the past. Like Dr. Malu played, and Mpoi Malloy, and Sean Bartlett all played from South Africa. But I've heard of a lot of South Africans going to university receiving athletic scholarships. So that's a good movement for our brothers and sisters in Africa, receiving the scholarships to come and get the education first and then play sports.
Well, that sounds great, and I'm definitely hoping that everybody watching back home in Africa is learning something out of this. But yeah, this is the exciting part. Finally, the Soccer World Cup is coming back home. Home of the great stars, home of the people that make the difference. When I say home of the people that make the difference, I could start naming names. Abedi Pele, Roger Milla in 1990. I mean, what does that symbolize for you? What does that mean for you as an African, having the Soccer World Cup coming back home?
Oh, it's amazing. It's still unbelievable right now. Who would have thought that the World Cup would have come to Africa? I think every African I'm sure they're loving the moment. They're gonna love the moment that once the World Cup starts. It's good for the whole Africa, for South Africa, the economy. There's gonna create so much work for everybody. So you have to be pleased with having the World Cup in Africa.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I mean, Africa has proved itself. I mean, going to the quarterfinals, now we have 5 teams that play the World Cup. We have definitely openings. I mean, Africa have proved over time that they have sufficient talent, to host the World Cup. I mean, evidence of that is how many Africans do they play in Europe? How many Africans do they play, in MLS soccer? But given that, are you involved with any promotions in regard to the Soccer World Cup, like talking about it?
No, I'm not involved, but a lot of people have asked me about it and asked my opinion about it, and it's all good things. I know South Africans gonna pull off a good World Cup. Um, I'm sure the rest of Africa is behind South Africa to do it. So yeah, we'll just wait. We can't wait for 2010.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I could, and the good thing about it is that now we have a sports magazine coming out called the African Sports Network Journal. This will be a good opportunity, to put it out there for people to see. We're going to bridge that information gap with folks back home. And we definitely going to plan to hold events, once, the General Assembly at the United Nations starts again, we're going to hold events just to remind people that, it's safe to travel to South Africa, because many people are seeing the stage of discovery. What do your other teammates think about South Africa? Have they been?
Nobody has been, but a lot of people have negative. They have a negative attitude about it. They just hear about the violence and the crime, And there's more to South Africa and Africa than just the violence and crime. It's not as bad as the media makes it out to be. So they shouldn't be scared to go. It's going to be a lovely experience, beautiful country, beautiful people for one, So you should go. It's going to be an awesome experience.